When you put junk in, you get junk out. This is a saying I have heard my whole life about my attitude, but it can also pertain to food. When we put highly processed junk food into our bodies, we get junk out through diseases and mental health issues. This is something kids are facing today who have eaten school lunches for years and years, as these school lunches often contain highly processed foods. Unfortunately, these highly processed foods leave them with health issues both physically and mentally. This is a major issue in America today that has become very prevalent to me through my nutritional therapy training, and it should be a huge concern to any parent who wants to see their child grow up to live a long, happy, and healthy life. So let's explore a few issues that these foods cause, why schools continue to serve these lunches, and a few easy steps we can take to alleviate this problem. Before we get started, let's take a look at a few examples of these unhealthy, highly processed school lunches. This first one has macaroni and cheese and pizza, which has no protein and no vegetables. The second one is another carb-heavy option that once again has no protein and no vegetables. The last one does have protein through the hamburger, but it once again has no vegetables. This is a major problem because kids need nutrients from vegetables. They also need the vitamins and minerals that they have. Without them, it's going to leave them at a risk for health, physical and mental health issues. According to Livestrong.com writer Carlos Guna, a junk meal or two won't have a permanent impact on a child, but eating unhealthy lunches for years can take a serious negative toll on both mental and physical health. And unfortunately, kids eat these kinds of meals for all of their school years, from kindergarten through 12th grade. They have options just like this. And if they continue to choose and eat foods like this, they're going to grow up to adults who are highly susceptible to diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and obesity. They're going to struggle with all of these physical issues and many, many more. In addition, they're going to struggle with mental health issues in adulthood and now. Unfortunately, when they're not eating nutritious foods, they can shorten their attention spans, they can lower their test score grades, and they can have higher behavioral issues. Often, their test scores are affected by the higher behavioral issues and lower attention spans. Without key nutrients from vegetables and minerals from vegetables, their brains are not able to function properly, and they're not able to intake information well and listen and pay attention well. And this is all going to affect their grades. So why would schools continue to serve lunches that are affecting and hurting their kids' grades? Often it is caused by budgetary issues and challenges. Schools have tight budgets anyways, and lunch is not always the primary receiver of these funds. Thankfully, there are programs such as the National School Lunch Program that have come in to help with that. But according to Lindsay Oberst from the Food Revolution Network, participating schools receive approximately $1.30 to spend for each child. This amount covers the food as well as any labor, equipment, electricity, and other costs. Only $1.30. This is barely enough to cover the food, let alone the other costs and the time spent to create these foods, to make this food and make it well. So often this leads food scrambling to find cheap food, and sadly the cheapest food comes in frozen and boxed forms and are always highly processed and lacking nutritious value. Another way schools have fixed this issue is by not cutting out the sourcing and prepping of foods through food companies and contracts with these food companies. Unfortunately, these food companies care a lot about making a profit and making sure kids eat. And kids are more likely to eat macaroni and cheese than broccoli, and therefore these food companies are going to make more macaroni and cheese than they would broccoli. And they have found kind of a loophole because these food companies are not held to the same nutritional restrictions that schools are. So therefore, they get away with serving more foods like macaroni and cheese than broccoli. So let's end these contracts and create some creative solutions to this issue. One of the best ways we can break the mold of these junk school lunches is locally sourcing food. Local farmers can help bring in foods that are fresher, higher quality, than foods that are outsourced, especially when shipped across the country. Local food is so much better and more nutritious because it has more time to grow out in the sun and will gain more nutrients these kids can have to help them learn. Additionally, kids can learn about their food and how food grows by visiting these farms and getting to see and grow a relationship with food. Additionally, we could add in programs that help with classes that teach them why broccoli is so good for them so that they'll want to eat broccoli and other vegetables so that they can grow strong and healthy. We should also advocate for longer school lunches so that kids have time to properly digest their food and they can gain all of the key nutrients that those foods have. If they have the proper time to digest, then they will have more time to get more nutrients out, and that'll help them focus in school. So, in conclusion, schools continue to serve these highly processed lunches because of budgetary challenges, but we can take a few small actions, such as locally sourcing food and fighting for locally sourced food, as well as starting or joining school programs to help alleviate this problem. In other words, let's throw out this junk that the school is serving now and fight for good food so that our kids are not putting junk food in and getting junk out. They're going to get good things out. Will you help me change our school lunch program so that our kids can live happy and healthy lives? Are you going to let them continue to eat processed foods and grow up to be sick and in pain through adulthood? I'm going to leave you on that note to think about whether you're going to make a difference or whether you're going to let them grow in pain. Thank you.